guys, welcome to a brand new episode of HopStart. We have Sharath, who's going to go and interview the founder and CEO of Social Alpha, and then Shubhro is going to go and interview the CEO of Omnicuris. Let's go and see what they have to say.
One of those faces needs no introduction. That, of course, is him. Well, my name is Shah, and he is Mr. Manoj Kumar, who is the CEO of Social Alpha. You're also associated with the Tata Trust, but I'm going to start with Social Alpha because what you are essentially to me is if you have a great idea, an idea that can cause a change, give benefit back to the society, then he's the man to get in touch with. What is Social Alpha?
Thank you. Nice meeting you. So, Social Alpha is basically our attempt to create an ecosystem that would support innovators and entrepreneurs who want to solve India's complex problems, right?
Which are many.
I'll give you an example. You have a number of investors and incubators who will help you build the next payment gateway or next wallet or next e-commerce site.
True.
But if you are an innovator who can solve the problem of groundwater depletion in India, or girl-child education, or healthcare diagnostic
the real
devices,
problems actually on it to be
complex, real problem where market doesn't exist or hesitates to get into. We help these innovators and entrepreneurs incubate their ideas, help them with the labs, mentors, infrastructure, get them capital, operationally in a very hands-on way, help them build their business, take them to market and help them be successful. So we run this journey with them. You can call it lab to market, right? You have an idea, you have an innovation, you have a prototype. Now you know you need some money, you need some support, you want to build the right product, you want to take it to market, we get in there. We work in agri, we work in healthcare, we work in energy, we work in water. Today we are talking about assistive technologies and disability. So that's what we do, right? Search for innovators and entrepreneurs and help them create impact. In the process, they build successful startups.
But what I've also heard is you guys are a little different. It's not just that you give money to them. There is a hand-holding process. So there are some people who, let's say, are already funded, but are stuck in some other process of achieving what they are. So you guys are a little different.
So with them, we do a lot of things. We give them access to the right kind of lab infrastructure so that they can convert their prototypes into solutions. We help them with design for manufacturing. We find the right mentors for them, technology mentors as well as business mentors. We also give them money. And we also sometimes inject our people in their team so that we can fill some gap temporarily. Right?
And there's years of Tata legacy also helping.
And then we have access to Tata Trust and Tata Trust larger ecosystem. So we are very well connected with the grassroots level. You know, Tata Trust funds thousands of NGOs, for example, at the grassroots level. They themselves do a lot of rural development and social development program. So we leverage Tata Trust ecosystem and Tata Trust, actual on-ground presence.
So I'm going to steer this conversation into three main bifocal points. So one is, how did you arrive where you are right now in the whole hierarchy system of Social Alpha? So what's your background?
So you know what, I did something that none of the millennials would want to do because I grew up in 1970s and 80s and I did standard stuff. I did my graduation, then I, post-graduation, then worked in corporate world for 25 years, worked in banking, worked in software industry, worked in investment banking, M&A, venture capital.
Is there any pie where you don't have your finger in?
I did a lot, but at the end of it, I realized about 8 years back, I quit. I became a venture investor. I started investing into companies, but at the same time, I got in touch with Tata Trust. I'm deeply, superbly impressed with Mr. Ratan Tata and the legacy he has created. And I thought that a lot of philanthropy, social work is happening in the country. Can we use a business model, right, supported with a venture capital type of operating model for social work? Right? Can we do something at the intersection of philanthropy and venture capital? Can we create sustainable enterprises that also solve problems? Right? And that whole process took several years for me to build this model. And I went to Mr. Tata and we presented to Mr. Tata and he really liked it. He said we will support it. Right? And that's where the Social Alpha architecture started getting together. In the same process, I also became an advisor to Tata Trust. So I started working with universities and institutions that Tata Trust was supporting in science and technology.
He's also the head of innovations and entrepreneurship but I really want to just talk about Social Alpha. Sorry.
So what happened? Because Startup Trust gave me access to their innovation ecosystem, Social Alpha got a very easy access to a supply of ideas and innovation. But we started looking at the market also. So it's not that we get people only from Startup Trust ecosystem. We get from Startup Trust ecosystem as well as outside. Then in Social Alpha, we built an incubator model. So we work with Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, BIRAC, DBT, Niti Aayog, various government departments, and we started building this whole business incubation and technology incubation model. So we could do both, right? And now we work with a number of venture capital, investors and our partners who are interested in these companies. So one of our company, for example, that works on citizen to government interface was acquired by Reliance recently.
Oh,
right. So how do we incubate startups in high risk areas and de-risk them so that they are attractive to the mainstream business? Right. This is whole idea. Right. How can we create Boeings and Mercedes and Tata Motors of water, sanitation, agriculture? Right? How can we get mainstream big business do what is historically considered the play area of NGOs and government? Right? Can we get market into social impact?
So there's fighting some already established public image as well.
So market is very powerful, but market is hesitant in getting into energy or agriculture or water, right? So how can we make sure that areas where market is not yet present actually gets in? So that's a high risk coverage, right? So the entrepreneurs and innovators who really want to build startups in that space, in the space of energy, environment, urban challenges, civic tech, waste management, pollution, traffic and mobility, right? If you really want to solve India's problems, building a startup in that space, Social Alpha is the place for you.
Probably the last question, unless you say something very great and I really want to talk to you more. What are you looking for next when someone applies for you? So what if someone is watching here and has a great idea? So what are you looking for next?
Be clear on what problem you are trying to solve. Is it really a problem worth solving? Are you the right person to solve the problem? Right? And if you have understood the problem, you have already understood first step. A lot of people build solution and then find a matching problem for that solution. Don't do that. Don't build a company, don't build a product that nobody wants to buy. First understand what problem you are trying to solve, validate that problem, right? And work on a very well validated, then you would have established your product market fit very early in the product development cycle, right? So understanding of a problem is more important than building the solution. That's what I would say.
And then once the product is done and is with you, you guys offer a lot of other solutions as well, how to market their product.
Marketing, sales, investment, how to raise money from others, everything. And we run a lot of these knowledge services programs. So for example, my team runs a regular classroom kind of session where some experts come and talk about how to raise money, how to understand term sheets, how to build products, how to do design for manufacturing. So we have a network of experts, and some of our experts are like world-class people. These are the people who have actually achieved a lot in their lives and now giving back. So we have people like the guy who built Google Maps is one of the mentors. Right?
Really?
Yeah. So these are the kind of people we have in our portfolio.
Also, if in case it wasn't clear to you, they're not geospatially limited by anything?
No, we have office in Bangalore, we have office in Pune, we have office in Bombay, we have office in Delhi. Delhi, we have a big lab. We are building a big lab in IIT Kanpur. In next 5 years, we'll have 25 incubation labs across the country and multiple investment vehicles that will support the entrepreneurs.
So basically, if you have an access to a phone, if you have access to an email, if you have access to your legs and you can walk into one of their offices and you have a great idea,
correct,
you have a family that will back you up.
Absolutely. And the best way to get in touch with us is www.socialalpha.org. It will tell you everything about how to get in touch with us.
I might have to take a break. I'm carrying my laptop. I have 2-3 ideas of my own. But I'll see you again soon, sir. Thank you so much for sharing time with us.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again on HopStart.
Thank you. Good luck.
2, 1.
Hi everyone, I'm Savitha Kuttan, the CEO of Omnicuris. Omnicuris is India's largest CME platform, which is training doctors online for keeping themselves updated with latest in medicine.
Hi Savitha.
Hi Shubhra.
Welcome to HopStart.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you. I'll quickly jump to my first question.
Sure.
What's Omnicuris all about?
Right.
Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes, it's Omnicuris. So Omnicuris is an online platform which is helping doctors stay up to date with the latest evidence-based medicine.
Okay.
Now, as a general, public who is not really in the healthcare field, one
Yes.
might think, why do highly qualified and educated doctors need to
Need
keep
further trainings.
further training, right? That's a very good question. A lot of us, as you know, who are not in the healthcare industry, we don't understand that because we think once a doctor finishes his medical school, he's a qualified doctor. Then
Yeah.
he doesn't need any more further education or
Right.
further training. Now,
And it's more of practice.
it's more of practice. So the evidence-based medicine is essentially changing on a very frequent basis.
Okay.
And doctors who have completed their medical school, say 5-10 years before, are required to constantly keep on track with what are the evidences and technologies which is
Yeah.
changing
Yeah.
on a day-on-day basis. And that is what, and guidelines are changing, newer
Yes.
diagnostic techniques are coming,
Yeah.
the protocols are changing, newer drugs are coming in,
Yes.
right? So it's an ocean of change in this,
It's ever
in this
evolving,
industry.
it's,
It's
I
ever
guess.
evolving.
Yeah.
And that is where we come into play, because in today's day and age, for a doctor, if he needs to keep himself updated, what's better than to have it in his fingertips.
Sure.
So that is how we are helping doctors by providing a platform for them, which is an app
Right.
where they can see all the latest updates which is happening, which is very relevant to their specialty and
Right.
of their interest
Right.
on their fingertips, so that they are giving their best patient care to their set of patients.
So it's like almost like an online channel which you have created as an app
Yes.
for the doctors to kind of be updated with latest things happening to
Right.
medicines, technology. Because I understand that we've been meeting a lot of people related to healthcare sector over in this show, and what we understand out of this is that there's a huge revolution of this technology in our country over like a decade now, and every industry is kind of integrating technology in it. And it seems now that your platform is also pretty much quite heavily integrated with technology. Where do you see this heading to, this entire thing?
Yeah, that's very well said. If you look at the space that we are in, traditionally doctors used to travel all the way. So if I'm a doctor practicing in, say, a remote part of UP,
Yes.
I would be traveling all the way to a Lucknow or a Delhi or the nearest city for attending a conference to share knowledge and get best practice and latest updates. That is no more getting that easy, given the busy schedules of the doctor,
Right.
and given that today with technology you're not even required to do that.
Yeah.
And that is how now this is a platform, especially in the healthcare training space, which is going to be slowly and steadily complementing, if not completely replacing, the physical model of doctors traveling all the way to get their knowledge upgraded.
So the accessibility also
Accessibility,
kind of goes a lot.
the cost, efficiency, all of that suddenly goes up. The time, because you're not really waiting for that big conference to happen.
Yeah.
As and when there is an update, as and when
Right.
there is a new drug which has been
Right.
released, you get it immediately.
Right.
So that is the difference and the power of having information
Yeah.
in your fingertips at your hand. Now that's in the training space, but if you look at healthcare in general, throughout the ecosystem, there is technology playing a big role, starting
Right.
from the initial space of diagnosis, where today earlier diagnosis we are given a paper report, and it becomes very difficult for us to keep track of those reports one after the other. Today all of those patient records, the diagnostic reports, everything is online.
Yeah.
And followed by that, for patient consultation also, you are in a position to do virtual consultation today. More and more doctors are starting to be open about the virtual consultation.
Yeah, that's where I was actually, one of my questions, that this is a very a little conventional school of thought, like when it comes to medicine and healthcare, where everything should be like, I mean, basically why I'm asking is this question: do you think one day there will be a situation where even the medical studies, that MBBS, can also go online?
Well, so I would always see technology as an enabler. So I would not go to the extent of saying that the entire MBBS curriculum can be online, but where technology plays a role is in complementing the existing physical infrastructure, so that in MBBS schools, where all MBBS schools may not be able to have the best teachers for all subjects, right? There might be one best teacher for, say, gastro in another school, there might be one best teacher for cardio in another school. The way I would see it is, sitting in my college, I will have my physical college, but at the same time I can get access to the best information available from anywhere across the country or even across the world.
So this means there's a huge opportunity for people who are actually getting into this field, even for a young person, that in fact more than opportunity, it's a requirement.
Yes.
Of more medically skilled people.
Absolutely.
So we have a lot of young people, Savitha,
Right.
as our viewers, and some people think that, okay, medical field is a little boring, you know, let's be a photographer or an artist, but still some people are very serious about it, they want to be a part of it. So what will be that generic advice or that tip to these guys from your side, who's
Right.
been into this field for quite a long time?
Right. No, so see, the medical field, there is a misconception that one can become successful faster
Yeah.
in a different field as compared to a medical field. So
Right.
the glamour and the power
Yeah,
that the medical
exactly.
field used to
Yeah.
be having earlier
Yeah.
is starting to become, slowly it's starting to get lesser and lesser over the period of time,
Right.
which is very sad because we being in the industry, we keep seeing doctors day in, day out. While it does require a bit of time in the beginning, for the doctors to get used to the system and start building the trust among the patients, the career graph as they move up the ladder is much better than any other field, be it an engineer, be it any other similar field.
Yeah.
So and we need more and more smarter, not just smart from a educational perspective or an IQ perspective, but also smarter from an overall EQ perspective, students and young people to start coming into this profession, just with the sheer shortage, and there is a huge demand for a smart doctor,
Yes.
not just a qualified doctor. So the career graph is going to be very good for the doctors. Initial years, yes, is probably
A
when
little
you
bit of
compare
a struggle, maybe,
as
or is
I
it the
wouldn't
right
call
word?
it struggle, but
Fair
I would
enough.
say it is comparatively less lucrative, right? However, the picture should always be in the long
Yes,
term and the
long
big
run.
picture,
Yeah.
that the power they get, the work satisfaction they get, and the commercials they get, all three definitely stays
quite
apart
satisfactory.
and stays above the rest of the professions in our experience.
Great, Savitha. That was great. I hope the viewers will definitely get something out of it. Like, you need to be a smart doctor, just
Right.
not like a skilled doctor, right?
Right.
Awesome. Savitha, thank you so much. It was great having a chat with you and knowing so much about it. And all the very best luck for your Omnicuris. And thank you so much
Thank
for
you
being
so
part
much
of
for
HopStart.
having me in the show.
Thank you.
2,